I'm Brian Christner, and this is The Byte, a bite-sized podcast about containers, cloud, and tech. In this episode, we're going to talk about Portainer. Portainer is a user interface for Docker Standalone, Docker Compose, or Docker Swarm. It now runs on Windows 18, 03, and above, or Linux. So essentially, you can manage Linux workloads or Windows containers, which is kind of a new feature. This is extremely helpful. We use it for a couple of our projects. I use it also privately for a few of my swarms that I'm running, and it works incredibly well. Very stable, has all the features I'm looking for. Let's kind of walk through the different features. Now, to get up and running, it's one Docker run command, which launches the server, the dashboard, and the templates in the manager. Now, every node you want to manage in your swarm, you have to deploy an agent. It's basically a service task that runs, and you register it back into the dashboard, and then you have visibility of what's going on. Now, in the dashboard, you can actually see stacks, services, volumes, networks. It's essentially everything we're really interested in when we're managing a swarm cluster. We can also look at, we have application templates, and here we have an application. We can say, for example, is it a container template? Is it a swarm stack? Is it a compose stack? And we can use existing applications, or we can actually create our own stacks and make it available for our users, which is quite helpful. Think of it like a kickstart for your developers. You can make a Python with an Nginx, and all the monitoring, logging, and all best practices are already baked in, so all your developer has to do is stand it up. Very helpful. You also have the stacks, and stacks allows us to manage a swarm stack, take control of it, we can update it, we can add more services, etc. It's very helpful. We can create and manage stacks. It's, very essential. Let me just go into an interface. You go add stack. You can actually, has a web editor, you can actually copy and paste the code right in here, or you can upload the YAML, or you can actually grab the YAML file from a Git repository. So all very, very helpful ways to deploy a stack. We can also manage things like services, containers, images, networks, and volumes. It really covers all the things we're really interested in. A couple of things I didn't write down was also configs, so we can actually look at the configurations, the secrets, so we can do secret management, and within the swarm itself, I can actually see like a cluster visualizer. And this actually comes from the open source part of Docker, the Docker example application app had the cluster visualizer, and that's actually incorporated in now. So we can see per node, what's running on per node, containers, etc. Now, what's quite interesting and what's quite new is the user management perspective. Previously, it was all local users, so local users and groups, and now they actually have local users or LDAP, so you can integrate it to your LDAP. And new, which is very, very new, is now external authentication to like an OAuth integrator, which is really cool. So you can actually integrate directly with GitHub, GitLab, or GitHub, Twitter, etc., whatever your providers are. Now, I find it's extremely easy to manage. I use it for my monitoring demos, etc., because I want to see what's going on. I want to see images. I want to see networks. And within networks, for example, I can go in here and I can manage networks. In services, I can scale services up and down. And I can actually click on a container and I can stop it, I can kill it, restart it, add additional containers, and then I can actually see, within the container configurations, I can add commands, entry points. Everything in the command line is also here. I can also change the logging driver, restart policies. It has all the features in the command line, but just visually. So it's, for teams that are not quite familiar with the command line or comfortable with the command line, it's a great place to start because it allows you to understand exactly how everything's working. Additionally, it's great for operations teams because they can see right away, from one user interface, one swarm, multiple swarms, how everything's running, and it's quite easy to manage. Like I said, give it a try. Portainer.io. I'm a big user, a fan of this operation. Their business model is on support, so they support how many endpoints. An endpoint, like I mentioned before, is actually just an API that's exposed, and it's how many APIs are exposed. That's how they're making money at the moment, so have a look. It's open source. It's really, really well maintained. They're adding features all the time, and it's a great, great service. Portainer.io. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Byte. You can find the show notes at thebyte.io and follow me on Twitter at I Do My Own Tricks.